We spend our entire lives looking at the world, but here's a thought. What if we're not truly seeing it? Today, we're diving into Priksha meditation. It's a practice that's all about learning to see reality in a new way, not just with our senses, but with a deeper, much clearer awareness. So, let's get right into it.
So let's start with a really big question. We trust our senses, right? We rely on them for everything. But what if they're not showing you the whole picture? What if they're constantly filtering what you see, hear, and feel through what you already like, what you dislike, and all your personal biases?
And that's exactly what we're going to unpack. This journey is all about figuring out how we can move past a world that's constantly being distorted by that simple, powerful filter of like and dislike, and instead step into a state of pure, unfiltered clarity.
Okay, so to get started, we've got to understand the tools we're working with. So let's begin with the basics, the world we all know so well, the world of our senses.
We all know these, of course, the big five: touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing. You can think of them as our primary windows to the outside world. They're how we make contact with everything and everyone around us.
But here's where it gets really interesting. There's a sixth sense we have to talk about: the mind. And what makes the mind so unique, so powerful, is that it's a time traveler. See, your five physical senses are locked right here in the present moment. But your mind, it can be reflecting on the past, processing the present, and imagining the future all at once. And it's this incredibly powerful mind that leads us right into the central problem, what we're going to call the trap of like and dislike. This is where our perception starts to get a little complicated.
This slide just lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got our default mode. We see something and instantly our mind slaps on a label. I like that or I hate that. But on the right, that's the goal, pure perception. A state where you are only seeing or only hearing. It's a subtle shift for sure, but moving from emotional reaction to pure, balanced knowing is a total game changer.
And make no mistake, this isn't some small quirk. This simple filter completely runs the show. Our whole lives, our decisions, our reactions, our relationships are all governed by this constant, almost automatic sorting of everything into those two little boxes.
So, what's the real-world consequence of this? Well, it's huge. When our minds are constantly spinning and applying this like-dislike filter, even a tiny little problem, something the size of a mustard seed, can get blown up until it feels like a massive mountain of stress.
So, what's the way out? It's not about shutting down our senses, it's about developing a whole new way of seeing. The idea is to open a third eye, not a literal one, of course, but the eye of equanimity, of perfect, clear balance. Which brings us to the practical side of things. How do we actually open this third eye? Well, it all comes down to a practice designed to cultivate a state of onliness.
The core of this practice is something called pratisanliananta. Now, it sounds like a complex word, but the concept is actually very simple. It's the conscious act of pulling your attention away from all the noise of the external world and turning your focus inward. It's like you're deliberately turning down the volume on everything outside so you can finally hear what's happening inside. So how does this actually work? Well, you can think of it as a three-step path to stillness. First, you withdraw your senses. You close your eyes, you find a quiet space, you reduce all that outside input. Second, you concentrate. You give your restless mind a simple, neutral job to do, like just focusing on the sensation of your breath going in and out. And finally, as you do that, the restlessness starts to fade. The more you concentrate, the less chaotic and unstable your mind becomes, and you find this amazing state of calm focus.
Now, practicing this isn't just a nice mental exercise to feel a bit calmer. It's actually a journey to a totally different level of awareness. Let's talk about the destination. This world that exists beyond the senses.
Okay, check out this model of the mind. You've got the conscious mind, that's our thinking and imagining. Below that, the unconscious mind, which drives emotions and behavior. Both of those are operating in the sensory world, right? They're tangled up in that like-dislike filter. But this practice points to a third level, the superconscious mind. Its function isn't to think or to feel, it's simply to know. And that is the realm beyond the senses.
There's this wonderful story that illustrates this perfectly. Picture this. A king is parading through town with all his soldiers and music. A huge spectacle. Thousands of people are lined up to watch. But he notices a small group of children so totally absorbed in playing their game in the dirt that they don't even look up. They don't even notice him.
So the king goes over to them, completely fascinated. He says something like, "You kids are so clever, why are you just playing with mud?" And one of the children gives this absolutely profound answer, "What would an earthen puppet do if not play with the earth?" I mean, wow, it's an answer that just completely sidesteps the king's whole world of power and status.
And that just begs the question, right? Where does an answer like that come from? It didn't come from a place of fear or wanting something. It came from that other place, that world beyond the senses.
Here's another quick example of this kind of knowing. A teacher, Acharya Bhikshu, was answering a man's question. He was answering slowly, and the man started to mock him. But Bhikshu just calmly revealed that he wasn't just answering the first question. He was already preparing an answer for the man's next, much trickier question. He knew what was coming before it was even asked.
This power actually has a name, pratibhagyan, or what we'd call intuition. But it's more than just a gut feeling. It's described as this ability to know things directly, a kind of knowledge that doesn't come through your eyes or ears or through logical thinking, but just emerges from that deeper, superconscious level.
So, we've covered the what and the how, but let's bring it all together. In our busy, chaotic, modern lives, why does any of this actually matter?
Because the ultimate promise of this practice is transformation. It's this incredible idea that just like an artist can arrange lines and colors into a beautiful painting, we can learn to manage our senses and our thoughts to create a truly beautiful, peaceful inner world.
And this really gets to the heart of it. When we're stuck in that like-dislike mode, a single problem can feel like an impossible mountain, blocking our whole view. The goal here isn't just to make the problem go away, it's to fundamentally change your perspective. By tapping into that state of onliness, the mountain shrinks back to its true size. You see it for what it is, and suddenly the way forward becomes clear.
So I'll leave you with the question that this whole journey is really built around. As you go about your day, pay attention. Are you just seeing things through that old filter of what you like and dislike? Or can you find those moments where you are only seeing, experiencing the world with pure, unfiltered clarity?